There we go. Hi, everyone. Good morning, Donna. Hi, Stephanie, Jean, Denise. I missed you guys. I missed making things. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved my vacation. I'm not saying that whatsoever. However, I really missed being crafty. I think the only thing that would have made it better is if they had crafting things. I should have done them. So in case you are out of the loop, we went on a Disney cruise. So now I can finally talk about it since the cat's out of the bag for everyone. But they had crafting, and I just didn't end up going to it. I don't know why, but I did miss you, Donna. I'm not being funny. I really did miss you guys. You all are very entertaining. I love chatting back and forth with you guys and making things for you. So I want you to know I did draw the winner, and I'm going to put the name here because, look, see, I even left myself a note and I actually remembered to do it. But while I was on vacation, apparently my Facebook got hacked into, so I had to re-log into everything, which took an extra few minutes. So, oh, of course my pen doesn't want to work. Pauline Turner. If you know Pauline Turner, oh yes, my MVP is out here, loud and proud. I can't wait to see what the new project is because I was telling Lisa that we need something in here that will, I guess you could slide it in there if you keep your stuff in there, but we need something to hold this. So I know they're coming out with something new as well, so that's pretty exciting. But if you know Pauline Turner, make sure you tag her. Pauline, if you're watching, you won. So you won a set of watercolor pencils. Aren't you lucky? Let's see, I believe I even have them. Oh, somewhere around here. Oh, they're up top here somewhere. Anyway, make sure you leave a comment if you haven't already because I do have some other stuff to give away. I have a lot of stuff I've been holding on to, and I'm going to be sending out some gifts. So make sure you leave a comment. I'm going to draw a few random winners and send out some fun stuff. Hey, Tammy. Tammy's back from her wonderful incentive trip that she earned to the Greek islands, in case you guys missed that, which is pretty amazing. Next year, whoever earns the trip gets to go to Maui. I am super jealous. Did not sell enough personally to be able to go to Maui. But the year after that, they're doing a Caribbean cruise. So maybe I will be fortunate enough I can step up my business game. So today, I did ask for a few of my Stampin' buddies that I am pretty close in a group with. I asked them for some ideas of what they might want to see, if they had thought of anything that they wanted. And they said, you know, it's almost July 25th, so you could do Christmas in July. Yeah, and they're unused watercolor pencils, smarty pants. So I'm going to be doing Christmas in July. So I really honestly have no ideas. I just got out some some stuff that's still in the catalog. So these were in from last year. These carried over. I do have these 3 stamp sets. So Merry Christmas to all. This one also has dies. Making Christmas Bright. This has a coordinating punch. And then Winter Woods. So I got those out. And then I thought we could somehow coordinate them with the birch and the crackle paint. And if you don't have the birch or the crackle paint, I'm sure a lot of you have buffalo check. This would be a great one for Christmas if you wanted to get started. And then another idea I had was to use the, I believe this is hardwood planks, pine plank, the pine plank folder. This is a dynamic folder, so I'm going to have to figure out how to use it again in the big shot. Oh, that was only with the foil. Never mind. Take that back. And the tin tile folder. So I have both of these out. And then I got out my shapes. So I have the squares, the ovals, the circles, and the rectangles. I'm not 100% sure what I'm even going to do with any of these yet, but we'll see. I know I do want to bring in a little bit, so I'm going to get this out now so I have it. I do want to add a little bit of embossing. So what I was thinking is maybe like doing one of these folders and then embossing the edge of it. So I thought we could do it with silver is always gorgeous. So, and I also have gold. So maybe we can do one in gold, one in silver. I did order the white shimmer embossing powder, but it was on back order. Shocker. That's probably because everybody loves it so much. Hold on here. I just want to get a couple of these out. There's 2 of my little, here's silver. You could even add some dazzling diamonds to something if you wanted to. I saw something really cute with this, so I'm going to get this out just to show you what you can do with that. So let me get a third one of these out. And also, just in case you've never done it before, you can get these little Tupperware containers. I got these two from the dollar store. And if you mix silver and gold, you will get champagne, and then you can kind of keep them like in your premix. Or you could mix, I also at one point, this one is actually Call Me Clover in silver, and it makes a shiny green. So you can custom mix your own embossing powders if you've not done that. So that's pretty cool. I still have all these to use, so I could mix this up for something new. And what else do I have here? If you want to make your own color embossing powder, in case there's something we don't have that you are dying to use, all you have to do, like for example, you could do terracotta tile. So what you do is you're going to stamp first, whatever it is in Versamark. You're going to ink it, and then you go over it with terracotta tile, and then you add clear. So you could do your own custom embossing powder color. So that's pretty amazing as well. So let me leave that out. So I think that's, let me put these away. I think that's all I'm gonna get out for now, and we will see where this takes us. There also, in case you don't know, Stampin' Up! Does not carry this, but there is a Versa marker that you can buy. So you could always add like little doodlies of something if you wanted to add some swirls. You could probably also do this with a blender pen, or if you use the because we do sell a refill. So you could get the watermark refill, and you could dip it with your blender pen and draw little swirls too. So that's another idea of something to try. But I have had this for probably as long as I've crafted, 15 years. And it's still wet. It's not dry. So as long as you keep things capped, this does have a fine tip and it has a brush tip end. So lots of cool stuff. So Silver and Night of Navy. Now there's a nice look, Karen, coming out with the combinations. Maybe I'll have to do that with the tin tile. We'll do that one. I'm not sure. Like I said, I really have no ideas. I've just kind of thought, like, I wrote a couple things down, like what we could do. But aside from that, I don't really have like any hard, fast ideas. So if you guys think of anything you want to see, you know, feel free to let me know. I had to completely re-wet my chamois because they were dried out from not being used for a week, which was kind of funny. Put this over here. All right, so Merry Christmas in July from Ohio. There you go. Hi, Alethea. We were just in Florida. I'd really rather be in Florida right now, quite honestly. If I'm being honest, I'd rather be there. So what I'm going to do first is, with this suggestion, so I'm going to do this one in white. I'm going to do the pine wood planks. I might do this in vanilla. And I'm going to do the tin tile in navy. So we'll do that first. So let me grab some paper. Also, I have to pull my trimmer back out because I put everything away. You all will be so proud of me. I put everything away before I went away, trying to be like nice and clean. So that's a little quarter sheet. I'll use that. And I'm going to keep this out just in case. And I think I am going to go with the vanilla for the pine, but I'm going to use thick vanilla. That way it doesn't break it. You can see I use this for something else here. I don't really know what. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm only going to use a quarter sheet of this, or a quarter of a quarter sheet. So I'm going to take it to 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to emboss this, but then I'm going to cut it in half. So we can actually make 2 cards. So I'm going to do that for the vanilla. And then for this one, cut this down to 4. I'm not really sure what my plan is yet. That's why I keep saying that. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to do both of these. So we'll do the pine wood. And one other tip, if you want to really get your paper to have really, really deep grooves, what you can do is you can spritz it first, because it will make the paper a little bit more pliable. So what I'm going to do, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit, is I'm going to spritz both of these with shimmer spray. Because you could do it with alcohol if you wanted to. Or I should say, you could do it with water in a spritzer, but I'm going to do it with alcohol that's mixed with some shimmer spray. So let me grab my big shot real quick. That way I can kind of get this together. We have that. I think we only need 1 plate when we're using the big one. So let me see. Here's some of my paper. So I'm going to just put this here. And what shimmer spray do I have? This is Frost White. We'll just use Frost White since it's already mixed. I'm pretty sure you can still get Frost White. I think you can only not get gold and copper. So I'm going to spray these. It is going to make them curl a little bit, but the alcohol will kind of make it dry a little faster. So I'm going to put the navy into the tin tile. I'm going to kind of like attempt to slightly make it even. It doesn't really necessarily have to be too even. But if you really do like it even, you can absolutely make it any way you want. I'm going to put this one long ways. This one I want to make sure it's a little bit straighter just since it's planks. Put it right there. And every time I close it, it moves a little bit. Oh well, we're going to get what we get with this one. All right, and then I'm going to run both of these through the Big Shot. Now, when you do have these big ones, the thick folders, these are both thick, you do want to run them with the opening facing in, because apparently it puts less pressure on the bend part of the folder. So I just have my regular platform and one cutting pad. So this way I'm going to run it with the opening facing in this way. So run that one. Oh, you can also use the heat and stick powder. You know, I don't know if I even have any more of that. So there you can see how deep that is. It's because it's a little wet. It still will be pretty deep, but when you spray it first, it really, really gets super etched images. And then I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it's still slightly damp, but it has a shimmer to the whole thing. So I'm going to put those two here. So there's that part. And I'm going to need to get my other thing out because I think we're going to end up cutting something in a little bit. But for now, you could hit this with your heat tool for a second if you want. I forgot to bring my my new straps back upstairs, so I'm just going to cool this off just for a second. I have zip ties, and I keep forgetting to bring them up from the basement. All right, so there's that. All right, so now what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut, and I don't know if I want to cut it this way, lengthwise, or crosswise. How about we'll do one, I'm going to do this one crosswise. So if this is 5, so we would need 2.5 would be 5, but this is 5 1/4, so we'll go with 2 3/8. Is that going to be even? Because 2.5, no, 2.5 would be 5, so I need to go 2 5/8. Let's see. I did that correct. Ooh, look at that math. I just really mathed that one out, didn't I? So we have 2 pieces here. So technically we can make 2 out of this one. This one I think I'm going to leave whole, and we'll put this one to another panel. But what we're going to do is I want to show you this just for the heck of it. So let me open one of these. So did somebody say gold and navy? I feel like I heard gold and navy. We were talking about that earlier. And then I'm going to do one with silver. So we'll do silver as well. So I'm going to do the silver first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat tool on. So I apologize. I'll try to talk loud. I apologize for the background noise. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Versamark pad and I'm going to just rub it on the edge here. Just like that. And you could do it all the way around, but I'm going to see how it looks just on one side for now. And then I'm going to take my embossing powder. Again, I have silver for this one. And I'm going to dump it on the edge. If you were really particular, you probably could have done the whole embossing buddy, but since we're kind of just going for a line, I just did it like that. I'm going to set this over here for a moment. Okay. So I actually went on a Disney cruise, Diana, and then we were going to go to Disney, or to Magic Kingdom for the day. But we ended up going to the water park instead because it was so hot. And about halfway through the time we were there, we weren't there very long. We had a lightning storm, so they had to get us out of the pool. But we had a fun time. So then afterwards, we went over to Disney Springs for a little bit and walked around and got our house sitters a little thank you souvenir. All right, so there's one. I'm going to just turn this off so I don't have to scream at you. But you can see it's really neat. So you have the pines. It's very hard to see the sparkle, but you have a sparkle from the shimmer spray, and then you have this. So that's one. And then with this one, we'll do something a little bit different. I'm going to just get a little crazy. So I'm going to take my pad, my Versamark pad, and I'm going to just drag. Just a little bit. I don't want to do too much, but just a little for like a little something. It'll just pick up in certain spots. So then I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to grab my silver powder and just kind of sprinkle. See where it went. And then let me just come around to this side. All right, and I'm going to just set this off to the side. I'll put this away in 1 second. So same thing again. I'm going to let this heat up. So we did have a really awesome cruise. It was our first Disney cruise. A humongous thank you to my very, very good friend Angie. If it wasn't for her, we would not have gone on this trip. It was extremely last minute. And we got to stay with her afterwards. And it was really, really fun. We had such a good time. Kids had to camp out. My son and my nieces were able to go, which was super, super cool. They all got to do like something like that for the first time together. And they had like every Disney movie ever made on demand that you could watch on television in your room. So I watched some movies I hadn't seen forever when we were falling asleep at night. All right, this looks really cool, much cooler than I thought it would look. I think that's done. I just want to heat the back just a little bit just to kind of flatten it out. Rainbow Stamper was a little bummed the last day because he realized that we weren't going to any islands anymore, which was kind of fun because that was the first time he's ever been out of the country. So there's that. That looks really neat as well. And I told him we were going to be staying at the island of America for our last trip. So I'm sure some of you will appreciate that. And he was like, huh? Like, yeah, we're going to be staying in the island of North America for our final leg of our trip until we go somewhere else. And yeah, I heard there was a huge lightning storm. Actually, that was the day we flew out. They said there was a really bad lightning storm in Clearwater Beach. So I'm so sorry. I knew someone was really deeply affected by that. So I'm hoping and praying he's okay. So I'm going to do the same with this one now. I'm going to take my Versamark pad. So for this one, I'm going to do the whole edge. So I'm going to go around the whole edge. And I'm just kind of dragging the edge of the pad, just like you would if you wanted to like add a little bit of color. And I'm so excited. Later today, we get to see the holiday catalog and all the people that went on the cruise. So I'm going to do this with gold. They were able to see it already, so I'm really excited. So if you're a demonstrator, just in case you missed that, you are able to check that out later today. 2 o'clock Mountain Time, so you have to adjust accordingly depending on where you are. So here on the East Coast, I believe it is 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I don't know. I always get the clocks mixed up. Mountain Time, for some reason, throws me for a loop. I think I'm always thinking it's longer than it is. So I didn't get quite as much of an edge up there at the top. So what we can do is we can always add back in, but for right now, I'm going to just move this over. I'm going to turn this on again, let it heat up. Oh, you guys live really close to Clearwater. That's really cool. Darn, we were so close. So close. 4 o'clock. Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. Karen is my Ohio girl. The Rainbow Stamper had a fantastic time on the islands. He got to see fish. He snorkeled and saw Dory. We saw so many really beautiful, beautiful things. We went to St. Thomas, Tortola, and then we went to Castaway Cay, which is Disney's island. So that was really amazing. But we went to a different beach in St. Thomas than the one that most everyone goes to. We went to a place called Coki Beach, C-O-K-I. So if you ever get to go there, it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And I've been to a lot of islands because I cruised a lot before I was married and had bills to pay and whatnot. I used to go on a lot of cruises. Actually went on a cruise all around Hawaii before, which was amazing. Okay, so I'm going to see if this looks good enough. So there you have that little edging, the gold edging. And I would probably do, I'm going to let this cool. I'm going to do just a little bit more down here at the bottom. So I'm going to just give this 1 second. And look at you. Thanks, Chrissy. That's awesome. Thanks for keeping us all in the loop there. Oh, goodness gracious. Look what I did. See what my blowing did? This is why you should always put your stuff away. There is gold embossing powder all over the whole desk. Lordy be. You know why? Because this one's a full one. Wait till you see my Versamark pad. Look at that. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's pretty bedazzled, to say the least. Oh, heavens. Well, that's some Versamark powder. It's kind of like when you make your first pancake. If you make your own pancakes at home, you know the first one is kind of always has to be like a gift to the pancake gods. Well, I guess that's what happened with me and my Versamark pad here and all of my embossing powder. That's why you should always put it away when you're done. And now I got a little bit too much, but that's okay. We'll go with that. All right, before I heat this up, I'm going to put this away so I don't have Disaster 2.0 over here. Everything in my craft room is now going to be gilded. A gilded craft room. All right, let me do this one last spot. You were waiting for that to happen, I know, right? I understand, believe me. All right, let me get this last little bit. Okay, I will say I probably liked the little thin edge better, so I wouldn't have been, I think I got a little verklempt here and I made a little bit too much. So I would say try to stick with the little thin edge because I think it makes it a little bit prettier than this big thing. But we can always cut it off, cover it up with something, no biggie. We'll figure that part out. All right, so we have 3 potential backgrounds to use here. So this one has a thin edge, this one we kind of just scraped over top, and this one was great until I added this little bottom piece here, but that's okay. Should have left good enough alone. So we have 3 embossed pieces that we're going to use. So just give me one little quick second here because I have to wipe this off, because if not, it's going to become a disaster. I just feel it. So I'm going to bring my, oh, look at all that gold dust. Oh, heavens. That's okay. Maybe next time I'll learn my lesson and put my stuff away where I should. So I have this out. So we did use the gold and the silver. And then I did potentially keep the dazzling diamonds to jazz something up with. I want to just show you one thing later if we can figure out something to do. So then what I thought we could do is I'm going to do the crackle background. And that one, hold on, let me see where I had my idea for that one. For the crackle. That would have been here, crackle. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the crackle in, what's a good light color I could use? Do that with Sahara Sand on vanilla. So I still have my vanilla. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, this is thick vanilla, so I'm going to use thick vanilla, and then I'll use a smaller piece for the regular card. Might have one cut there. So there's that. So what I'm going to do to make this simple again is I'm going to just ink the Sahara Sand onto the stamp since it's in the case here. Just being a little bit, taking a little lazy step. This one I'm going to trim down. Feel really quickly just to make sure it's a 1/4 panel. So I'm going to do 5 1/4. Should be by 4. Yeah, by 4. And I'm going to set this on top like that. Just pick a spot and go with it. And then I just have my piece of scrap paper here. So I'm going to press. That way I don't get my hands all inky. Oh, morning, Gail. You know what else is? I missed watching everybody make all their cards because you don't really have very much internet access on the cruise ship. So we're going to go with that. So there's that. And you can wipe this off with your chamois or rinse it when you're done. So I'm just going to set this on the side. And let's see. Now, might have gone with a little bit more of a... I don't know. We'll have to see how this looks with a lighter color. Sahara Sand might have looked a little bit nicer with that. That's okay. We're going to go with it. We're going to just leave it how it is. So I have a thick piece of Very Vanilla. And then I have a regular piece of Very Vanilla. This is 4 by 5 1/4. We'll set that here. Then what I wanted to do is, let me grab one more thing. Let's see. Another little, it might be a little too small. Another small piece of Very Vanilla. I'm going to just go ahead and trim one of these down so you guys can see what it is I'm talking about. This one I was kind of planning on doing like a tone on tone kind of thing. So I'm just kind of trimming this. So I'm going to cut a piece out. Just don't know exactly what I'm going to need to do with it yet. So that's why I'm kind of being a little... seeing what I want to do. So I'm going to grab the Winter Woods and I'm going to do these and maybe this little, it looks kind of like a little, like I guess if you would see like a snowbank or whatever it may be. So I'm going to try that. So let's see. And everything, I have everything put away. It's so nicely organized. I can't find anything. All right, so this is going to end up going this way. So we're going to put this, and I'm going to do this a little bit lighter this time. I'm going to go with, actually, maybe I'll go with darker. Maybe I'll go with soft suede. All right, so what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to ink this up. Usually when I have these bigger ones, I tend to try to ink them down because you can tend to get the little pieces a little bit better versus if you're taking your stamp like this. Sometimes you can see your ink coverage better if you stamp onto it with your pad. So there's that. And I'm going to cut this out. So I'm kind of just trying to aim for the center. So we'll see what this looks like. Give this a little pressure because it does have a lot of detailed edges with all of the bare branches. Oh, too much. Daggone it. Press too hard. It's okay. No biggie. I'll wipe that part off. This time I'm not going to press as hard. I'm going to keep my pinky up and I'm going to ink it like a princess would with your pinky in the air. And then, let's see. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to just take my finger here. Just let me go with my pinky. Since it's the smallest. There we go. And I'm going to do it again. That's why the paper has 2 sides. And when I'm down here at the base of the trees, I'm going to press really delicately, like a princess would. Not like the Beast, which I apparently am acting this morning. There we go. Much better. So, take 2 is better. You don't want those in there. Unless you want some tree stumps. It does kind of look like tree stumps. So it really just depends on, I guess, what you're looking for, right? With your stamp. What you want your image to look like. Then I'm going to grab this little snowbank here. Or grass bank or whatever it is. And I'm going to, I had a little scrap. Here it is. I'm going to actually make this just a tiny bit lighter. So I'm going to ink it. Just a little bit. I want to see what it looks like first. Because it might not be that dark. Yeah, I'm going to ink it and then stamp off. Stamp off. That one's a little too light. That's okay. There we go. So I just have my little stamped off thing there. So we'll leave that as it is. I'm going to close up my ink pad. So this one needs a little something something. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to ink it with, maybe we'll add like some copper or something to that. That needs a little something. It's just a little too plain. Let me grab. So I have my Big Shot again, and I might have to grab my other cutting pad. I'm going to use the stitched dies. We'll see. I don't want to like cover up entirely too much of this card, but we might have to go with a little bit more than we think we need. Might have, you know what? I might have to bring that base up just a little bit. So let's try that. So that's kind of the larger. Oh Lord, someone's dressed up for Red Nose Day. Clown Day. Yeah, I have a Rainbow Stamper has on his Darth Vader and Stormtrooper shirt with a Castaway Key hat. He's wearing sweatpants. I don't know why he thinks it's so chilly. It's not that cold in our house, I promise you. And he has on a red nose, guys. A red nose.
It's chilly in the...
It's chilly? You're chilly?
Chilly somewhere.
Wow.
Grocery store.
It's chilly in the grocery... Oh, he's prepping for the grocery store. See that? We haven't gone grocery shopping since we've been home yet, so... And Donna, we did get some cooler weather from that storm, but I'll tell you what, it's only, it's like 70, but we still have like 800% humidity, so it's really not that much cooler. All right, so I'm going to roll this through and cut it. No coffee or open cups. That coffee's making you nervous. There could be embossing powder. Actually, those were in two different areas. So I cut this off. I am going to go back and add a little bit of that stuff that we stamped off there. Okay, so I'm going to fix that a little bit. And let me bring that one back here real quick. Honestly, I've had probably, this would be my third cup of coffee if I finished it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm keeping it up here just in case I have like a coughing spell. I need to take a sip of water. Oops, that was not smart. There we go. So we have a little bit of that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go around the edge of this. And look, see, I said I wasn't going to do the embossing powder anymore, but I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do a little bit on the edge of this just to make like it pop a little bit because it needs a little something. So would you guys do... copper? Copper might be a nice accent. Or I could do gold. I don't really think silver would go so well, but I think copper would be kind of complimentary. We can honestly even do a little bit of clear. Oh, you know what we could do? Let's do a little teeny bit of clear. Just on a couple spots. So what I'll do is I'll show you. If you have like your... You could do your tree. Just do a couple little things with this pen. Okay. So that is, let's see what that looks like. We'll do this part with just a little bit of clear. See if it sticks enough. Okay. So you have a little clear on there, and then I'm going to go in and add a little bit of copper to the edge. Trick to my creativity is being a mess or a slob, if you ask me. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit of clear here on the tree. Like on the tree, oh my gosh, what are they called? Trunks. And then we'll add a little copper to the edging. So you can kind of see the shiny on the trunks. Okay, so that looks pretty neat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'm going to grab my pad. And I'm just going to go very lightly on the edges here. It's That's all I need is catch the carpet on fire when I get home from my Disney trip. I'll never be able to go anywhere again. Okay. So here's that. There we go. That's good. You know, quite honestly, I really probably would go with getting the big Tupperware bowls like some people have. Like they'll just keep their embossing powder in a big container, which is such a good idea. But I just don't have any place to put it. I have so much stuff that I'm afraid it would end up being more cumbersome. But that really is such a great idea to have your embossing powder. They just have them in like, kind of like those ones you can get like lunch meat or whatever in. Those are nice, the square ones. So there's that, a little bit of edging. I think that makes it look a little bit nicer, gives a little bit of pop. I'm definitely going to put this one up on dimensionals. And then I still have to add something to word-wise to it. This also, I know this sounds a little insane, but this could also make a really nice sympathy card if you wanted to make a nice sympathy card with it as well. So I feel like I could be wrong. I know we still have, I believe, the silver edged ribbon, which you certainly could use this even though it's a mixed metal. If you also, this will be another really good one because I'm sure you guys still have some of this left, because if I do, you do. This was the tea room ribbon. This would work really nicely because it has that copper edging. And if you wanted to, you could even use the one that was the blue, because you could bring in a little bit of color. That would be really pretty. But if we did this one, we could bring in a little bit of like a light Christmas color. So I'm going to just use this one. You could use something different if you don't have this. We also have lots and lots of ribbons in our catalog that you could use. So what I'm going to do, just for a little bit of color to this, I'm going to see what, I'm going to go with the green, because I think a red would be too contrasty with the copper. So I'm going to just do a little bit of Pear Pizzazz. Let me just see what this looks like. You could do this also with your Stampin' Blends. You could use your ink pad if you don't have the marker. There we go. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this underneath. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to wrap this around to the back. You just grab a little bit of adhesive. What side did I want to have for this? I have to make a decision here. Which one's going to be the up? We'll go with that. So I'm going to put it down at the bottom here. Just take this. Just take the edge like that. You don't want it too tight because then it will make your cardstock bow. So kind of just what I usually do is I'll lay it flat and then just press it. And then just take your snips and snip it. Oh heavens, now Darth Vader is walking around in the hallway. I'm going to use some fast fuse because I still have some. But you guys could also use, I'm going to just put a little bit there as well. You guys could also use your Tombow liquid glue. That way if you need to manipulate it a little bit, you could. So there's that. If you felt like you want this to be down, you could also put a little mini glue dot in here. Put that like that. And I'm just going to grab my old paper piercer because it does really well at picking up these little backings off of my dimensionals. So I'm going to put this here. You could center it up a little bit. If you wanted to, you could have even wrapped this ribbon. Hold on, just get the center just a little bit better for my liking. You could also have wrapped the ribbon around the stitched nested. If you wanted that to be on there instead, you could put a little faux bow by just basically tying a little knot. So what you could do is you could tie a little knot of thread under here if you wanted to. Kind of gives it like a little more of a finished look. Probably doesn't need to be quite that long. Hold on, trim this. Oh my gosh. My paper snips are not liking me today. Okay, so there's one. So I'm not going to put a sentiment on this because I honestly don't know which one I would use it for, because you could use this for either. It could be a very nice sympathy card or it could be a Christmas card. Either one. You could certainly jazz it up by changing up the color of the ribbon as well. So that's another option of something for you to do. And then what I want to do is I still want to do at least one of these other ones. I don't even know what, well, it's 10:08. We're still running. That's not too bad. We're not running too bad on schedule-wise today. So here's one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. We're going to do something with this one. I'm going to grab a piece of Night of Navy, a base card. So there's that. And put this together. And we're going to have to do something with this fat end here. I'm going to have to decide. I have to make a decision of what we're going to do there. Move these out of the way. Okay, so we still have both of these, which are really, really pretty. These have a lot of really nice, this one is a great one too. We could do something with, oh, let's do something with the bulbs. And then we'll add the Friends Make the Season Shine. Now, I am going to stick with white with this because I think it's going to pop a lot better. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a piece of white. And I'm going to trim it down. You could cut this out with a stitched shape if you wanted to as well. But let's see. So 3 1/4. I'm going to see if 4 1/4 is too large. Might be a little too big. Let me do 3 by 4. This is when I need my auxiliary table because now I'm starting to stack things on top of each other. And my coffee is probably making everyone nervous. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 by 4. And we'll move this over. Do need a pad for this. I'm going to scoot this up just a smidge. All right, so we have all of these with our Merry and Bright and the star. And we have our little string here that we can use. And I did want to use the clear bulb once, and we are going to leave our sentiment in there for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in, attempted in variations of navy, and then I'll bring in a little bit other blue as well. So we'll see what this looks like. So I'm going to do the string first. I'll do one. Everybody has seen those double layer strings before, right? So we'll go with one here. And let's see, balmy. I think that's going to be a little too blue. I'm going to do seaside. So I'm going to do seaside and navy. And I'm going to start out with just a blank. So just the clear blank bulb. Oops. Try that again. The clear blank bulb. And if you ever, I just want to tell you this again because I know I've told people this before. If you ever notice that it doesn't stamp the way you want it, you can either put it on your hand, kind of rub it to your hand. It kind of fills in the spots. But the other thing you can do is you can also dip it in Versamark first and then dip it in your ink. And it gives a much smoother fill in. Okay, so having Versamark isn't going to affect anything unless you really want to stamp something clear, but it typically does not pick up any ink color. So we'll go here because we do have to put those little things up top. I'll do another one over here. So there's that. Do navy. And I'm going to do a navy without re-inking. That one's a little goopy. Wipe this off just a smidge. All right, so I'm going to stick with that. And then, and I did not do any of my other ones, but I'm going to show you one other thing I'm going to do. Hold on one second. Let me just move 2 of these out of the way. I'm going to try this because I really wanted to use it. And I forgot. So this is just Pacific Point. See if I can line that up. Oop, that's way dark. Okay, let's try that again. No biggie. Okay, so here we'll do this one instead. So I have a Pacific Point here as well. Seaside Spray. And just wipe this off. Take this one off. This is Mary, so I'd like that to be first. And get this one. And then we'll have and I'm going to do and in the light. So it's the Seaside Spray. And then for the last one, I'm going to do bright. And I'm going to do this again in navy, only to kind of keep the consistency of the color over here. Mary and bright. So there we go for that. And then I'm going to add, and I know this might sound a little unusual, but I think it will work out well for the little cap pieces here. I'm going to actually do these in peacock. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to try it. Might not like it, might be fabulous. Actually blends pretty well considering. So there's that. That looks really cool. So that actually ended up, except for the little smudgy up here, that turned out pretty well considering. So that was a nice variation of blues. So we have that there. We're going to add that to the card. And then we're going to add one more little thing where we're going to add our sentiment. Just wipe these off. So the sentiment, you could have friends make the season shine, may your Christmas be bright. You could even do making spirits bright, something really simple like that. So for the smallness of it, I'm going to do making spirits bright, and then we'll put the friends make the season shine on the inside. Okay, so let me grab this. Let's see if it fits on here. And I think just to tie it in, I'm going to stick with the navy on the bottom. And we could even edge this with the gold if you wanted to. You don't have to. Make sure that's stamping nicely. Looks nice. And then what you could do is we could add the inside panel where we put the Friends Make the Season Shine. So let me scoot this out of the way. All right, now once again, I am going to make sure that I use a really good adhesive because you really want this to be flat. If you're trying to get it a little bit flatter before you put it on, you could run it through an embossing or run it through the Big Shot just with paper. But just remember, it might smush this down just a teeny bit. So I'm going to just stick with doing fast fuse, or I would say for you to use liquid Tombow glue if you don't have fast fuse. Tombow is really good, especially for having the little grooved things. It really helps stuff stick super, super well. So we're going to put that here. Give it a nice press. Make everything nice and flat. And this, I feel like this needs a little something. So I'm going to round the edges. And I'm going to just do 2. So I'm going to just use my trio punch and round 2 of the edges. There you go. Something about that makes it look a little bit cuter, I think. And I'm going to take my, what did we do this in? Pacific Point. And I'm going to just very gently, just freehand, I'm going to just draw the line up to the edge. Make sure this one goes over the edge. And this is a little bit fatter, so I'll have to do this a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Other thing we can do, just to give this a little sparkle, is make sure that you go lightest to darkest. I'm going to just put a little bit of Wink of Stella on the bulbs. You could also do a little bit of a spritz with the shimmer spray. I would definitely avoid the word part because you could smudge it. So I would say just kind of go the color part. And then do the navy. You could also, if you wanted to give it a little bit of dimension to your I don't know what you call these, I guess your sockets, you could either use your fine tip glue pen, or if you happen to still have some crystal effects, you could put that on there. That way they would stick up dimensionally. So that would be kind of neat as well. So I'm going to flip this over. You can see, in case you came in late, that's the part that went wrong there. We flipped it over and used the other side. As a matter of fact, that is the second time we've done this today. So hopefully, being off on vacation a week, by next week I will have my act together for you guys, and maybe I won't have to flip papers over 15 times. Also, in case you missed it, I did do a lot of videos. I just recently posted them because sometimes Facebook is a little bit of a stinker with having you schedule posts. They all look blank when you put them up, so I just waited till I got back to do them. So I did put several blog posts up and some videos up on YouTube in case you missed it. So there's another one. Again, you could add a little bit of a gold. Now we do have this, and again, I'm not sure if this is or isn't retired. It could very well be in the clearance rack still. But the metallic edge ribbon, if you wanted to, you could have added a little bit of that underneath. Could have covered up this little extra piece here with it if you wanted to. So just some extra stuff that you could always throw in if you felt like it. But I think this card, aside from this little fat spot here, is perfectly cute just the way it is. So let's try and wrap up one final card. So we have these 2 pieces. So technically we could do 2. I'm just going to work with one. I'm going to use the skinny one. And then this one I will make it another time. I promise I'll post this one as well. So there's those 2. So for the silver for this one, that's Pacific Point. I don't know where my thing is. There it is. We're going to do silver. What was the idea that I had for this one? Give me one sec just to see. Birch background. The Merry Christmas stamp. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one white. This is also going to be very simple. So we're going to do white on white. But I do want to do thick since it is going to be a base card. So this is Thick Whisper White that we used earlier. I'm going to put this onto thick. Oh, this was vanilla. Never mind. I lied. Thick, very vanilla. So let me grab a piece of that. And get this scored up. I feel like that's 2 pieces. Nope, just 1. All right, so we're going to do this one crossways. So I'm going to go ahead and score 5 1/2. Cut it at 4 1/4. And this is going to be a card that's going to go this way. Okay, and then what we'll do is we're going to add a little something to it. So what I wanted to show you, and actually I might keep a piece of this out just to cut it with it. So this has some really nice coordinating dies. As you can see, I did these before when we had those glimmer paper packs. So you can cut these in glimmer paper. You can cut them in regular paper. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. So let me just see which one would work out better. Merry or Christmas. And I just keep, like, all these little extra things that I cut, I just keep them all together. That way, in case I need to grab something, I can. But we're going to put this here. This will be here. So we do Christmas, or we could do, I think we should do Merry, and then I'm going to stamp the Christmas here. So we're going to do it like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the Merry, and I'm going to do it in vanilla again. I'm not going to use my whole card. I'll see if I have a little scrap in here. There's something. I just have a vanilla scrap. Let's see if that fits on there. So Merry, we'll do like that. So let me grab my Big Shot one more time. Gail doesn't celebrate Christmas probably. Gail, were you born in January? That's my birthday too. Gail, when's your birthday? My birthday is January 11th. I'm going to go back and forth here. Wouldn't it be funny if we had the same birthday? All right, so I have my Merry, which is stuck in here. Okay, so then I'm going to take my paper piercer, 27th. All right, you know that's one day before my parents' anniversary. Okay, so now I'm going to do one more thing. I have my silicone mat here. Okay, so that's, let me flip this over to a cleaner side. So I have my silicone mat, and I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow glue. I'm not sure how this is going to work, so I'm just going to tell you ahead of time. I'm really not sure. I'm going to take a sponge dauber, and let me get this out. I have a clean, I have my Dazzling Diamonds, and I have a clean coffee filter here. So I'm going to just dip a little bit of this. I saw this, they had this kind of idea in the catalog, and I thought it was a neat idea. So hold on, I need a little bit more glue. Your parents were the 25th. You were their present. That's so cute. Okay, so here. So I kind of sponge daubered this with some glue. And then, oh, stuck to my finger. Let me move this over. I'm going to take the Dazzling Diamonds, and I'm going to just kind of sprinkle it. I never use this Dazzling Diamonds enough. I bought it so long ago. I remember watching, oh my goodness, I can't think of her name right at this second. Oh, it'll come to me. Just shake it off a little bit like Taylor Swift. And look, isn't that cute? It's super, super, super sparkly. Super, super sparkly. And with it having the Tombow glue, it should stick to this better. Let's hope so. But it's really, really, really sparkly. It's not really even showing up on camera how pretty it is. It's really, there you go. It's really, really pretty. Dawn. So I saw Dawn a long time ago. She was using Dazzling Diamonds on like everything that would hold still. And I thought, I got to get some of that. But I just never use it. I don't know why. And honestly, even when we had the heat and stick powder, the heat and stick powder to me, I still had a hard time using it. So I never really used it very much. I think I probably didn't do it fast enough, and that's why it didn't stick. So maybe that's why. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I have my Merry. So we have this. Whoops, we wanted to go this way. We have our Merry, which it could be a little too flat, but that's okay. I'm going to do it that way anyway. And then I'm going to stamp Christmas. Oops, that's the wrong one. There it is. Merry Christmas. So you could use Merry with the flat Christmas. You could switch it up. You could put a whole bunch of the other stuff on the inside. You could add the flourishes. Lots of stuff with this one. And I'm going to do the Christmas in... What do you guys think? You think it's too much if I do it in silver? Because that's really what I want to do. Because I think it would look pretty neat. But if you guys think it's overkill, I'm not going to do it. So maybe that's what it was. I probably never heated it the second time. That was probably part of the problem. I was just heating it once and I needed a second heating, which I think it's nice now, especially for us to have so many demonstrators who know how to use all these different products, because I really think it makes it helpful, because sometimes in the catalog, if you look at it, it can be a little overwhelming of what you're supposed to do with whatever the thing is. At least I feel that way still. When I look at stuff, I'm not really exactly sure how to use it. So you say red, huh, Judy? And red. All right, I got 2 reds, so I'm going to do red. I'll do real red. That way it's going to be super vivid. And let me get out my pad here so I don't screw it up. I'm going to set this. That way I can kind of eyeball where I think I want it. So we have Mary. And should the Christmas be like wrapped in the Mary, or do we want it under? I think under would look nicer. Let me make sure this is stamping nicely before I take it to my card. That looks beautiful. All right, here we go. Ready? You're turning back now. Merry Christmas. Oh my gosh, look at that. I smudged it. Son of a gun. Oy vey. It's okay. You know what? There has to be some little flourishy something or others we can add in here. We can add this. Hopefully it won't look too ridiculous. But I'm going to stamp it off first. That way it's not super bright. Oh, heavens. I got to put one up top because it's a little too... There we go. All right. A final smudge. I could have turned it over, but that was on the base card. So there wasn't much turning in that one, was there? All right, so let me see if I can assemble this. I did wipe off my hands. Okay. So let me flip this over. Make sure this is nice and creased. I'm going to take the Tombow to put this one down. Make sure you get to the edges so nothing falls off. Put this over here. Make sure I kind of have it lined up pretty neatly. Looks pretty good there. All right, now all I have to do is put down my Mary. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just put a little bit of Tombow and kind of smudge it around a little bit. So in case you haven't been told by anybody else, there's a great special if you'd like to sign up as a demonstrator. You get $155 for $99, and then you get an extra coupon to use the month after you join. $10, I believe, $10 coupon. You get to be part of the Rainbow Stamper team. And you also get to be part of my Uplines team as well, which is Tammy White. So you get lots of resources that you'll be able to use. I wish I wouldn't have done that because I really don't like all this little flourishy stuff. But oh well, it's the way it goes when you goofed it up. But let me move this stuff out of the way and I will bring these back in. Thank you to my ladies who gave me these ideas for Christmas in July. I think these are also really subtle cards, different cards, obviously not really traditional Christmas colors, which is pretty cool as well. And then I'll have to make this into something. So this was the other half of that, if you remember. We just embossed over the whole top of it. So lots of fun stuff that we were able to do today. I was able to get in a little crafting since I haven't crafted in so long. I was able to spread a little bling with my spilling of my embossing powder. So my goodness, yeah. So, yep, there you go. New front. That's a very good idea. Yep. Use a sand eraser. You know, with the red, sometimes it's a little hard to get the red off. So I don't really know 100%. That's okay. But I think that if I would have had this one had a little skinnier edge, I would have been a little happier with it. But you know what? It works. At least you have some ideas. And now you know what not to do when you do your cards. So you don't do everything that I did. You could also change this around if you wanted to and have like a little bit of a red there would be pretty. You could do that with the red. I think Poppy Parade would look really nice because I think red would almost be a little bit too much. But thank you all so much for joining me. I'm so happy to see you all again. Make sure these are in the frame. I can't quite tell there. I'm so happy that you all joined me again, and I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. So I'll be back next Tuesday at 9:30 if you don't see me before then. Remember, if you are a demonstrator, you do get to take a sneak peek today at the holiday catalog later this afternoon. So if you join as a demonstrator, that's one of the perks. You do get to see and order from the catalogs early. We'll be able to order on August 1st, which is very exciting because I heard they have so much Halloween stuff, and I do love Christmas, but Halloween is my absolute favorite. I love making Halloween cards. Last year, I was a little sad because I wasn't quite thrilled with some of the Halloween stuff, so I'm hoping we have oodles of Halloween stuff so I can share lots of Halloween cards with you guys, which will make me so happy. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. I can send you a catalog. We have the annual catalog and the holiday catalog that'll be coming out soon. And you can request a catalog by sending me your full mailing address, including your zip code, to rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, you can shop my online store 24/7, which is rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Thank you all so much for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful week.